What's up, it's LactateLactate, and I'd like to welcome you to the second episode of my new mini-series, Classes to Make You Lactate. Today I'm going to be looking at my Abra class, or whatever it is in my custom classes. I think it's Abra, yeah, which is the M4A1 with the Red Dot, PP2000 Silencer, Semtex, Stun Grenades, Sleight of Hand Pro, Stopping Power Pro, Ninja Pro, and Martyrdom. So today is a domination game. I think it's on Favela. Pretty good score. I think I go 45-4. I would have had more kills if Toast hadn't been in there, just nicking them all with his AC 130 or whatever. But no, it's a pretty solid game. I sort of just, pretty action packed. I don't have an 11 kill streak on. I think I'm going 5-7-9. So I'm in the action most of the time. But the gameplay is not really what I'm going to talk about too much. I'm going to focus on the class. Now, the M4. You unlock it at level 4, and it's just sort of as you'd expect, a beginner's sort of gun. It's good for any sort of situation. It's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. I like to think of it. It doesn't particularly excel in any one area. I mean, I find that, in fairness though, I find medium range is pretty special. But it's not like there's always going to be a better gun for a situation. But I don't find any gun handles every situation quite as well as the M4 seems to. It's got fairly low damage. I think it's a 3 or 4 bullet kill. It might be 4 bullets at range, 3 bullets up close, which means that you kind of need stopping power on it. I find. I mean, you can use hardline, but if you're going to use hardline, you're going to have to be up close like all the time. So that's what I'm using. I've got the red dot on it because mainly because I just find that I have better vision. The silencer I do use occasionally because iron sights aren't bad at all, but I just find that the red dot is a preferable option on this gun, and over the holographic. The holographic I find a bit obtrusive sometimes, and I don't like having the larger reticle. I like having that that space to aim at, and also I found out that if you use the red dot or the holographic, then you actually snap onto target quicker. That was an annoying death. That was really unfortunate, but yeah, you actually snap onto target quicker, which combined with sleight of hand, just makes you kind of deadly, to be honest. And hip firing isn't really a necessity. You can snap down on your target that quickly, and if you've got a hot shot on you, M4 with red dot and sleight of hand is just brutal. Like you'll end people. If any idiots like that decides to come out and try it, you're gonna gun them down. It's got a really high fire rate as well. I think it's got one of the highest fire rates on the out of the assault rifle classes anyway, and that combined with the fairly high accuracy and pretty much no recoil means that sort of the low damage isn't really too much of an issue, I find. The other final sort of positive about the M4 is that its reload time is really short. It's not gonna even without sleight of hand. Reloading is not really an issue, which is good because, as I said, you've got a high fire rate and not a massive clip, a pretty normal sized clip. So reloading is an issue, and as I said, sleight of hand, just makes it all better. Sleight of hand is a lovely perk, in my opinion. That was annoying as well. All my deaths in this were just not particularly cheap or anything, but it just annoyed me that I got a little bit unlucky, or maybe I could have done a bit better. But I think in a minute I do start sort of picking it up. The game doesn't start great, but I think I do pick it up. Anyway, back to the class. So that's sort of a bit about the M4. As I alluded to in my first video on the AK, the PP2000 is generally the way I go with my secondary. This time I've got silence on it. The reason why I've got silence on it is because out of my two weapons, my primary and my sidearm, I like to have one of them at least silenced. So if I do choose to go stealthy or flank down the side, I have an option of being quiet. So that's the main reason why I've got the silence on the PP2000. I just did a double video on the PP2000, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. But back to my perks. So as I said, sleight of hand really useful, especially with this class, because it's increased snap onto target. The ADS is increased, and you've got increased reload time on a gun that's already got a pretty small reload time, which just makes you pretty much impossible. If you're being aggressive and if you're pushing forward into the spawn, you're going to be successful. Stopping power, as I say, is pretty much a must. Unless you're going to be really short range, in which I'd recommend hardline if you go that way. And would someone there like to explain to me how my Harrier got me? I called it in nowhere near my location. I was in fairly okay cover, and my Harrier killed me. Like, if anyone sort of knows the sort of the physics behind Harrier or the direction they're meant to come in or anything like that, I'd really appreciate it, because that was insane. That pissed me off at the time. But anyway, I think I should really carry on. So finally, I've got Ninja on, which, as I've said before, is probably my favourite green perk. Steady aim's useful with this gun. As I said, hipfire isn't too much of a necessity because you can snap onto targets so quickly. You don't really need to be hip firing. But if you choose to, if you go that way, then hipfire. Steady aim's a good shout. I suppose you could use Scrambler or Sit Rep or any of the other perks. Don't use Last Stand unless you have no penis. But Ninja is probably the best way to go. And as you see, I get a quick bread and then just what am I doing? Just trying to be clever, I guess. But and then I've got the Semtex on instead of Claymore this time because I tend to play a bit more aggressive with an M4. I'm not quite sitting in such a defensive role, so therefore Claymores just aren't really useful. And I only tend to use Claymores if I'm going to combine it with Scavenger anyway, because there's no real point in laying down one Claymore. I want to be running around just laying Claymores everywhere if I'm going to be laying down Claymores. Otherwise, I'm going to use Semtex, which is just beautiful. Semtex generally I prefer over Frag. I know some of my mates will say that Frag's better. I think Toast for one enjoys using frag grenades. I just find that Semtex you just get that immediate kill. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to wait around. You see someone, you can just stick them. And getting sticks is great fun as well. You've got to love sticking someone. Sort of the ultimate humiliation. We used to play a game where if you could sneak up on someone, you stick them and they just run like a pig that's just a scolded pig that's just been burnt on the backside. Like someone gets stuck and they just immediately have to run off. It's quite funny. I'd recommend trying it if you ever get a chance. Although you shouldn't really play with your food. That's one thing that I learned. I enjoy personally killing someone if I see that they're messing around with me and then I sort of turn on them. It's great fun. At the moment I'm using the RPD because I picked it up. Again, the weakness of the M4 is, unless you're using Scavenger, then you're not going to get a whole load of bullets with it. So you'll run out of ammo pretty quickly. It's very much a get to your 5 kill streak sort of gun and then let your kill streaks do the work. Sort of get you, all of them, as it were. If you do sort of, want to use your gun and you want to have more bullets and stuff, I'd recommend Scavenger Pro. But if you're going to stick on Scavenger Pro, there's no real point in having the Red Dot. I personally prefer Silencer. So I'd recommend trying that out, if this class isn't quite for you. But I think personally this is the best way to enjoy success with the M4. So back to the gameplay. I think I'll touch on it a little bit. At the moment, I think it's slowed down a little bit because I think there's my Pavlo up there, and we've got them pretty spawn trapped in A at the moment. But I'm sort of just waiting around because I know there's action. I know they're going to be coming around, and I've got an RPD. I don't want to be rushing into the action, so I'm sort of trying to let them come to me. But I don't think they ever really turn up. So I think I'm about to sort of give up on this and change direction. I see Toast is in there as well, so if Simon's sort of up in the spawn, there's no real point in sitting behind him because there's not too many people that are going to get round for you to have a chance to kill. So I'm sort of defending B right now. Favela in terms of maps is one of my favourite. I really enjoy Favela. I think I'm going to make a video about my favourite maps and what I feel makes a good map, so look out for that. I think I'm probably going to be doing it on Terminal because in my opinion that is probably the best map on any Call of Duty game. Now I've only had fairly limited experience with the other games. I played a little bit of COD 4, played a little bit of Black Ops, and out of all the maps, and I've played all the maps on both games, as well as obviously all the maps on Modern Warfare 2, including the map pack levels. I think Terminal's probably the best. So I'm going to be making a video about why I think that is, what I think is the characteristics, what are the characteristics of a good map on Call of Duty, and so look forward to that. Favela is definitely up there for me. Always have a good time with Favela, whether it's Domination or Team Deathmatch. I find that I play the two sort of quite differently. Domination I tend to sort of get in the middle a little bit more and sort of try and defend the points, while Team Deathmatch I sort of tend to stay on the outskirts of the map and sort of be looking in. Because although I suppose that's just a general good tactic for Team Deathmatch, you never want to be running around the middle on Team Deathmatch. So as you see, the game's winding down now. I think I managed to get a cheeky kill just before the end of the game. 45-5 is the final score. I think it's about to come up. There you go. Yep, and I think it would have been a lot higher, as I said, had the game gone on a little bit longer. We 3-capped them at the end, and had Simon not be fucking getting in there with 57 and 14. But yeah, I hope you learned a little bit about the M4. That's a second episode of Classes to Make You Lactate. Episode 3 coming up, I don't know, some point in the future. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.